I want to take a second here to talk about bearings. When you look at a bearing in an engine, it doesn't really look like what you think of as a traditional bearing in like a rollerblade or a skateboard. Engine bearings are really just pieces of metal. That's because the engine parts like the crankshaft don't really touch the bearings of your engine. Instead, the oil that's pumped through the engine creates a thin film, and that's what the crankshaft actually rides on. That's why when you go 18,000 mile oil change intervals on your Altima, your engine starts making a knocking noise because your bearings are screaming for mercy. It's possible to machine a crank journal and get oversized bearings for the engine, but I didn't want to mess with any of that because it's complicated. From the factory, the spec on the main journal of the crank is 58 millimeters. The radial wear limit on this journal is 0.15 millimeters. On the connecting rod journal, the spec is 47.8 millimeters, and the wear limit here is 0.09 millimeters. All of our crank measurements checked out good, but we're not out of the woods just yet. We need to check our crank for structural integrity. Rick used his fancy machine that you put a crankshaft into. It magnetizes the crankshaft. You then put this glowing dye over top of it that has magnetic properties that will find cracks within a piece of metal through this magnetism. It will get sucked into the cracks and it will expose any cracking you have on a crankshaft. Ours was perfect. Here's an example of what a cracked one looks like. Our GTI crank did have one minor imperfection. A small amount of bearing material had transferred to the crank journal from the bearing. Rick has this fancy schmancy polisher that allows him to turn the crank while polishing each one of the journals, which gives us a perfectly smooth surface. Now we're going to check the main bearing clearance. The amateur way to do this is with plastic gauge, but the correct way to do this is with a dial bore gauge that we've looked at earlier. There's actually a very good video comparing these two methods and how accurate they are to each other, which we will link to in the description. To do this, we have to install our crank main bearings. Then we're going to torque down our main caps, install the side bolts, torque them down as well, then use a dial bore gauge to determine the clearance of each journal. Then they're going to measure each crank journal and compare the difference. This process determines the thickness of the bearings required, or if we can keep the exact same thickness bearings that are already in the engine. Rick uses a book to determine the correct bearings for an engine. In the VW and Audi world, the manufacturer actually stamps letters to determine the correct bearings for each place in the engine. What this is actually letters that are stamped on the crankshaft for the lower bearings, and usually on the cylinder block for the upper main bearings. The order of the letters, starting from left to right, is going to be how they are in the engine block. You then need to go to a chart which converts those letters to colors, which will then be the color code for the correct bearing. If you only want replacement bearings that wouldn't be thicker or thinner, each letter has a thickness designated to each bearing. Remember, this is only correct if your plastic gauge or measuring you've done determines that you don't need to change the thickness of your bearings. And I know it's confusing, but I didn't design it. To be clear, if you were to be rebuilding an engine instead of building an engine like ours, and you were trying to do it for a cost-effective price, you could have during this entire process found a cracked cylinder block, a cylinder block that is so warped it's out of a machinable tolerance, or a crankshaft that's been ruined by cracking, damage, spun bearing, or anything like that. And again, if you were rebuilding an engine and you run across these things, it would absolutely blow any cost estimate you had at the start out of the water.